Welcome to the Nevermind podcast with your host, Reem. Oh my gosh, I wanted to include as much of the mess behind me just to share my reality because, yeah, we are currently under construction in Casa Ala Reem. And this move out plan out of this apartment kind of happened very quickly, like within like the last 3 weeks. And I have a lot of thoughts in my head about why we're moving out, what's going on, this and that, because we're not just moving apartments. Like, I am not moving into a new apartment. I'm actually planning to pack up my life in storage boxes and suitcases at the moment. But my sister, she's moving into a brand new apartment with her friends. So, very much new era vibes at the moment. So, that's kind of like a life update that I have going for you guys. And yeah, it's been like a quite a long process because today we're actually going and taking a lot of bags to donation, and the last few days I've just been driving us to her new apartment to just drop off as much furniture and bags and pots and pans that we possibly can. That kind of rhymed. Slay. Okay, anyway, so I wanted to kind of share with you guys a little bit of what's going on. That's kind of what this episode's going to be about, is changing a lot of making the biggest change in your life. I am currently in that state where I'm very excited and 10% afraid. So it's like 90% excited, 10% afraid. I think once we start really moving out of this apartment, the fear will kick in a bit more because I'm making like a really big decision. But we moved into this apartment 3 years ago. Honestly, the best, apartment ever. Like, it's in the most beautiful location. For 15 minutes away from a beach. Like, we're in downtown. Like, honestly, I reached my peak in this city. I moved to Vancouver like 8 years ago, and 8 years later, I feel like we've made a lot of progress in many facets of life, and I feel like I've done a lot of good things here for sure, but I feel like I reached a ceiling, and there's nothing about life that particularly excites me and makes me look forward to something. And I've thought about so many different things that I could change about my life, like get a better job, or live in a better apartment, or go out more, make a new friend, all of these things that come with being in a city. And I just realized, and I've known this for such a long time, I've known this for like the last 5 years, it's just like this is sometimes just not the city for me. I've thought about it so much. Like, I know I cannot thrive in an environment like this, and I've thrived quite a bit, but I've reached a ceiling. And I think it's important to know when you've like had enough almost. And yeah, because of COVID and because of a lot of other things, like, I was not able to make this decision sooner, but I do feel like I'm making it at like the right time that makes the most sense for me. And I went up to my sister and I told her, hey, I'm finally deciding to take the plunge and move out, because one of the biggest things that has always prevented me from moving out has also been like cost of this rent and place, because I love this apartment. Like, when you love a space so much, like, this was my sister's and I's like girly pad. Like, it's like the first place after university that I got to fully customize and make it completely my own. Like, the furniture I bought and I DIY'd, and we like decorated this place all on our own, and it's truly like my safe space. And the location is unbeatable, the price has been unbeatable. So every time when the summer rolls around in Vancouver, it's like you have like temporary amnesia. Oh god, I can't speak. But like, it's always whenever the summer rolls around, I feel like I have temporary amnesia and I forget how shitty I feel during the rest of the year, honestly. And when the winter rolls around, I get so seasonally depressed, like, cannot move. Um and I actually thought, like, after went to India for like 2 months and I came back, I had like this new energy to like create and post more, and I was. But oh my god, the bed rotting, like the way I bed rot for days and days and days, it's not something I've done honestly in any other place before except like Vancouver, and I kind of got used to the idea of the fact that this is just how adulthood is like bed rotting and like having these demotivated days. And of course that happens, I think, to everyone, but it happens particularly most often here, in like a wintry rainy type city. And this is not even like rain that's in cities like London. Like this is kind of rain and weather and the cold that cripples you. It's but we I don't live in a busy city, and I've realized that my personality thrives in a busy bustling city, because then I spend too much time in a quiet city just like thinking and spending too much time in my head. So I really felt like I kind of came to the conclusion that I deserve to be in a city that feeds me and feeds my energy and like makes me get out of bed in the morning and doesn't make me bed rot like this. Like I genuinely become like a shell of a person, and this has happened for like all the time that I've ever lived here. So yeah, and like every time I travel and every time I have a change of space, of course that gets reignited. But then when I'm also in those spaces, and places, whenever I meet people in bigger cities, in busier cities like New York or London or Bombay, I just meet people that have like such a zest for life and like are energetic and like have a young environment around them that's constantly moving and working. And I love that. Like I thrive off of that energy, and I just don't have that here anymore. So that's kind of why I made the decision to kind of, just do this. And it's risky, it's expensive, it's a lot of different feelings that I'm having, but I need to feel like a new era, like I need to feel like I'm entering a new era in my life, and I realized I needed this is because you constantly need to have something to look forward to feel excited about life. Like you we need like a problem to solve. Like we definitely do. Like humans are problem solvers, and if we do not have problems or things to look forward to solve and like work towards, if we don't have goals, we'll create them. And so this is me creating a new goal, a new problem, a new north star to kind of work towards, because I thought about it. Like I've done everything I could. Like like living in downtown Vancouver, I think to most young adults in the city, is like the peak when it comes to like where you can be in the city geographically. I mean, after that is like buying a house and all of those other goals. But like when it just comes to like living like a young lifestyle party, like, restaurants and going out, like living in downtown, I feel like is was my at least my goal actually. Like at least it was my goal, because I lived all the way like in the like suburbia of the city. And that's when I started, like that's symbolically where I started when I came to university here, like living with roommates, being in that space, and then slowly moved towards like having an apartment here. And then on top of that, my boyfriend lives in a loft in downtown. So it's kind of like I've also seen what it's like to live in a bigger and better apartment as well, if I were to reach certain level of success to afford that. And I realized that even like improving like the place I live and even the friends I have wonderful, wonderful friends now, that like I've really built a network and a community for myself that I do not feel like I'm sacrificing. Like if anybody says like, "Oh, you're going to leave your friends behind," like I don't feel like I will. Like I genuinely feel like in the age of social media, you are more connected than ever. It's so easy to see each other at any point of time. And yeah, like I also am very grateful for just, a little bit of peace and quiet that I've been able to have in my life, because the city is such a quiet city. And also, I got to live with my sister. Like 3 years of living with my sister was probably one of the most important and impactful like experiences that I've had in my life. And it feels super weird to know that we won't be able to do that. I mean, again, for the foreseeable future, I don't know when we'll ever be able to do that again. But yeah, like pretty pretty something. And then also, yeah, I met my boyfriend just before COVID. Like one of the best like things that have also happened to me while I lived here. I made like a lot of new friends that mean a lot to me in the last like 4 5 years after university. So I'm I do not regret how much time I spent here, but I do feel like when it comes to personal career, personal growth, financial health, my like mental health, like when it comes to me, I don't think um I've made as much progress as I envisioned for myself, and I cannot see myself forcing it any longer out of myself anymore. Like I don't I I have not reached the the level at which I feel like I should have, despite how much effort I've made. And I feel like I've just constantly been having signs that this is just not the place for me. And I'll be honest with you, like since I've come back from India, like I've just had such a hard time being productive. Like right now it's also super cloudy and gray outside, and it's raining, and it's taken a lot out of me to kind of even sit here and like film this. Like this makes me feel like I'm productive and doing something. And I did have a lot of energy, like, when I was working on the podcast. Like again, like I feel like I need something to work towards, and I just like it's but it's always such a force. Like I force myself because the energy in my body just leaves, whereas in other places I go to, it just like enters, like it just happens because my mind is healthier, my body is healthier. Like over here I just sleep for so long. Like I'm gonna be real with you, it's so hard to get my body moving. um Gymming, doing all of that stuff is just not something that happens like at all. And oh my god, I'm sorry, but like I love slash hate, big heavy on the hate, TikTok sometimes so much. And I hate social media sometimes because of how much of a consumer I am. Like that's kind of where my work is and my ambition is at. But spending the amount of time I end up doom scrolling online because of how unstimulating my day to day is, and my life here in general is, like there's not enough energy and there's not enough things to do outside. The weather's not good enough, like I feel like I'm boxed in, that I just spend hours and hours and hours just like laying on my back, rotting, sleeping, scrolling for 5 fucking hours. And it's so embarrassing, but it's so true. I'm being so for real that like especially on a platform like TikTok, and that's so different from Reels. I have seen the difference. It's like on Reels it's just viral, overly snackable content where you totally can cut yourself off, I find, from TikTok. But sorry, from Reels. But when it comes to TikTok, like there's just so much content on there. It's like an ecosystem of its own that's like keeps you so dialed in. And I'll have to physically talk to myself and say, stop it right now. Like stop it. Because it's so hard. Like and I hate it. Like I feel like it's a true addiction that I am really embarrassed about. Like, I, there's nothing, I'm not watching anyone in particular. I'm not really indulging or looking for anything in particular. I'm not really feeding myself like that. I'm just scrolling because I'm bored and it's mind numbing. And I feel like I can't even remember a life where I didn't spend this much time on the internet. Like, I can't remember what I used to do with my life before. And I used to paint, I used to dance, I used to sing, I used to like there was so much to do, there was so much vibrance in my life, and I feel like it's all gray. Like the color palette of my life is feeling so fucking gray right now. And especially after I visited India for 2 months and constantly keep like meeting people who don't even live in India, who live in like Dubai and other places, or who have just made a change in their life, like a change of scenery. For the first time I met people who were like satisfied and happy in their life. Like, do you know how what when was the last time I even met somebody in this city who could tell me confidently with their chest that they're happy? Like, I mean, to be fair, like my sister loves Vancouver, like she loves, like her friends love it, but they're also like working towards a very focused career, and so they're happy. It works for their thing. But I think when it comes to like my field and like general like people around my age, like it's really hard to find a lot of people truly satisfied with life. At least the people I've talked to be honest, I don't hold it against me. Like everybody's life is different, but I truly, truly, truly have been struggling to find a lot of like happiness in life, even though I have so many good things. I am having such a hard time being grateful for it because my personal life and my personal career is suffering, and that's making me suffer, and like my day to day suffer, and therefore the people around me cannot do anything to kind of make it better, and it's not even their responsibility. It's actually mine to fix it. So it's just a whole lot of that, it's a lot of different things, and I just need to make a change. I just need to like shock myself out of this, and for that I need to put myself in a place where the environment feeds me, because I am not disciplined enough at the moment to kind of do that for myself. Like it's such an effort, it's such an effort to bring, if you're not a naturally disciplined person, and not even naturally, but if you don't have that in you and you're not feeling very focused on your goals, and like you live in your head as much as I do that at the moment. And I definitely think I have ADHD, like undiagnosed, but I definitely think I do. But all of those factors make it really like 10x harder to kind of thrive in a city that doesn't, that just kind of enables all of those things. And I just need to get myself out of that. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a life update. We are currently moving. It's really hard to like dress up and do anything because all my clothes are in suitcases way in the back over there. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode and with more video journal life updates, I hope. Yeah, bye.